Only one thing can save our season right now, and that is the Champions League. We're officially through the league phase after finishing third behind Arsenal and Bayern Munich. And honestly, we ended it in the best way possible. A 6-0 win against Karabag with a clean sheet to go with it. But it was not just about how many goals we scored, it was about the way we scored them. The movement, the build-up, and the decisions in the final third were all really impressive. Because of that, today's video is going to be a little different from the usual analysis. So make sure you do hit the like button and subscribe if you're new, and let's jump straight into it. After that disappointing loss against Bournemouth, and with this Champions League game being so important to avoid any late surprises, it was pretty clear that Arne Slot was going to go strong with his starting 11. This was not the night for rotational risks, we needed to control from the first minute. Alisson stayed in goal, while Andy Robertson, Virgil van Dijk, Ryan Gravenberch and Jeremy Frimpong made up the back line. Unfortunately, Frimpong's night ended very early after picking up an injury. That forced a quick reshuffle, and suddenly we had Gravenberch and Endo dropping back to complete the defense. Definitely not ideal, and not something you want to see in such an important game. In midfield, we had McAllister, Szoboszlai and Wirtz pulling the strings, while Salah, Ekitike and Gakpo led the line up front. On paper, this was a team to dominate the ball and overwhelm the opposition. Now earlier we mentioned that this would be a different kind of analysis video, and there are two main reasons for that. First of all, with all due respect, Karabag never really stood a chance against us, even if we are not at our best. We didn't need a tactical masterclass to win this game, because the technical and physical quality of our players was simply on another level. The second reason is even more simple. We scored 6 goals. So instead of breaking down the overall shape or tactics, we are going to take a closer look at every single goal. And trust me, there are some really interesting details you do not want to miss. So let us start with the first goal. And no, we're not joking when we say that we scored from a corner in 2 consecutive games, guys. Yes, this is actually real. Van Dijk's goal against Bournemouth came from a headed corner, and our opener against Karabag followed a very similar idea. At a time where most teams crowd the goalkeeper and try to force their way to goal, it looks like we are doing the opposite. We actually allow the keeper some space to come off of his line, but then we surprise him in a different way. You can see here how we are not trying to block the keeper. Instead, we have 2 players, Salah and Ekitike, attacking the first post. The delivery is aimed right at the edge of the 6-yard box. From there, the plan is simple. Either flick it straight towards goal like Virgil van Dijk against Bournemouth, or, like in this case, redirect it towards the second post, where we already have an overload waiting. This is a great example of working smarter and not just relying on strength all of the time. Hopefully that message is clear. McAllister's header opened the floodgates, and just after that it was pure chaos, in the best possible way. Just 6 minutes later, Wirtz made it 2-0, but honestly it was Ekitike's work in the build-up that really blew us away. The long ball comes in from Robertson, and even though Hugo's first touch is not perfect, the way he recovers is something special. Watch how he lands on his toes with a slight bend in his knee, and his body weight shifted away from the planted foot. That body position allows him to explode back towards the ball in one clean movement. The guy is simply elastic. You rarely see someone that tall move with that kind of agility. But wait, it does not stop there. Once he breaks away, his first touch is taken on a diagonal angle, which instantly moves him away from pressure and into open space. But then, when he spots Wirtz making the run, he changes his approach. Instead of moving away, his second touch goes straight towards the defender, and there is a reason for that. That touch freezes the defender in place and opens up the lane for Wirtz to run into. With the outside of his foot, Hugo then slips our number 7 through, and Wirtz finishes it beautifully. That assist had everything: agility, strength, and pure technique. We really do have a one-of-a-kind striker in this squad. That is how the first half ended. We did not completely blow them away from the start, but the game honestly felt like a training session more so than a Champions League match. Then, just 5 minutes into the second half, Mo Salah finally reminded everyone what he does best. This one does not need much analysis at all. A simple flick from Szoboszlai from the set piece, and Salah curls it right into the corner. The keeper had absolutely no chance with that one. For the fourth goal, we have to go back to praising Hugo once again. His first involvement came from us being a little bit more direct in the build-up, but this one is all about pure transitional threat. Van Dijk did not hesitate for a second when Karabag lost the ball. He instantly went long and picked out Hugo up top. From that moment on, the Frenchman only needed 5 touches to put the ball in the back of the net. The first touch comes in the air and while on the turn, winning the initial contact. That boy really is agile, is he not? The second touch is all about stealing the ball right from under the defender's nose. The third and fourth touches drive him closer to goal, always on that diagonal run that we keep talking about. And the fifth touch is simply the finish, pulling the trigger and making it 4-0 on the night. Moving on to the fifth goal, this is something we do not really see work often in the Premier League. Most teams prefer to go long against us, especially from goal kicks, so we rarely get these kind of moments. We have all talked about our issues with pressing in open plays, but from restarts like goal kicks, we actually press very well. And that is because we go man-to-man all across the pitch. This goal starts with Endo, who was filling in at right back, making a really aggressive jump to win the ball up high up the field. From that moment, the tempo stays at 100. A quick 1-2 between Salah and Wirtz does not come off, but Wirtz reacts instantly and counter-presses to win the ball back. From there, Szoboszlai plays a first-time pass into the box. At the same time, McAllister makes a perfect third-man run while Hugo stretches to reach the ball. And then suddenly, Maka finds himself in front of an empty net after taking the keeper out of the game, helped by a touch from the opposition's defender. Was there a bit of luck involved? No, absolutely not. This is exactly how you break down tight defenses. You play fast, you counter-press, and you keep making off-the-ball runs. Even if 1 or 2 passes does not work, the pressure will force mistakes, and sooner or later, those mistakes will benefit you. The sixth goal was simply the boys having fun. Because honestly, how does Van Dijk win the ball back in the midfield and still end up inside the box assisting Chiesa? That moment alone tells you everything about the freedom and the confidence the team was playing with. Now guys, let us all agree on one thing. We are very clinical on the night. We also saw the team hurt Qarabağ again and again in transition, and that is the main reason why they never really stood a chance. But at the same time, we have to keep our feet on the ground. This was not a Premier League side, so whilst the result should definitely boost our confidence, it does not mean all of our problems are suddenly gone. One thing that still stood out was that we continued to play in one tempo when circulating the ball at the back. That is exactly why we did not completely blow Qarabağ away in the first half. There is still a lack of understanding of when to speed up the game and when to slow it down, and in the Premier League, that is something that can cost you dearly. So that wraps up our analysis of a very special Champions League night. 6 goals, a clean sheet, and plenty of positives to take away from this performance. We saw confidence, movement, and most importantly, we saw players enjoying their football again. That is something we have been missing for a while, and it was great to see it back on the pitch. There are still things to improve, and we have to be honest about that. The tempo control, the build-up play, and the decision-making in certain moments still needs work. But nights like this remind us of what this team is capable of when everything clicks. If we can take every part of this performance into the league, then there is still a lot to fight for this season. The Champions League has always been special for this club, and once again, it feels like this competition brings out the very best in us. Let us hope players can build on this and carry the momentum forward. As always, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What stood out to you the most in this game? And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more.